day, and welcome to the Power Up. This is your host, Tami Hill Thomas. Excited that you're taking time to join us today, where we equip, educate, empower, and elevate you to make a difference where you are. Today's segments will touch global and national news, and we hope will help with perspective and purpose on an individual basis. Our goal is to motivate so that you can feel the impact, make an impact where you are. Let's jump right on into it. Our hearts are very heavy with our brothers and sisters in India today. We want to take an opportunity whenever we can on the Power Up to support our family members, whether they're right next door in our homes, even those across the water, because we're all of one human race. So the afflictions and the burdens felt by brothers and sisters that just have a different skin are still important to those of us here at this show. So we want to take a minute to educate just in case you aren't aware of what's going on and how you can help. So, to our brothers and sisters in India, the Lucknow, India reports that at least 96 people have died in India's most populous cities over the last several days, primarily because of the sweltering heat wave. The deaths in the northern states have been reported by authorities to have been over 60 residents thus far. And this is just within a few days' span. Many are so cautious and so fearful that the markets and the outdoor restaurants, the outdoor businesses are getting no foot traffic. Everyone is staying indoors. And the authorities have said that they haven't seen anything like this in recent history. It has affected over 200 miles of individuals living in India. Can you imagine having to be so cautious because of the heat that you not just have to worry about what you're dealing with and it affects you and your family members, but there's livestock and animals around you. So we certainly send our hearts to those. Authorities also warned, especially those who are the age of 60 and over, that live with health issues. So they're unable to already deal with the intense heat. Family, we're talking about this today, not just to share the plight of what's going on in India, but these are the summer months for those of us across the world and to my family in the United States. So we want to take this opportunity to, while our hearts extend love to those who are our Indian brothers and sisters, to also remind you of how you can be cautious during excessive heat. How you can make sure that you, the infants and the children and our elderly, are taken care of. Those who suffer from chronic health conditions, those who might even be overweight, are the most susceptible to those that to having the impacts of weather just from it being too hot. Those who work outside are another population of individuals. We're grateful that they're doing what they need to construct and to build, right? Those who are law enforcement and firefighters, those who have to stand on those corners, those who help our babies, those who are the ones that are part of our neighborhood and their job is outdoors, very susceptible to heat exhaustion. So we want to just share a few tips. Whether you understand the gravity of what our Indian brothers sisters are going through, those who are in India, or if you're just preparing for July and August, there are things you have the power to do. So let's take a minute just to share a few with you. Number one, can't say it enough. You've got to stay hydrated. For my family who carry the water bottles in your car, I need you to be very careful of that. Plastic water bottles have a way of breaking down because most of them are from recyclable material. So it's very important that you're cautious about leaving those plastic water bottles in your car in the heat. Check it before you drink it. Make sure there's nothing floating, no particles on the inside. Stay hydrated. This is what we recommend for our senior citizens, for those kids that are going to summer camp, folks that are going to be outside. Freeze your water. Take a frozen bottle of water with you when you leave the house. If you know you're already going to be out there, let the heat help it melt. That's fine. Let the ice keep it cool. That's great. But it's not the particles from the plastic that's breaking up that can be assumed absorbed in your body. Plastic is not easy to digest, and it has been attributed to the cause of cancer. So, as much as you can take care of your health, stay hydrated. Consider frozen grapes for the little babies. Great snack. Uh-huh. And the cool can help in those summer months. Consider keeping an eye out for your coworkers who might be exhibiting signs of a heat stroke. Know when there's time to rest and cool down. And that doesn't just necessarily mean only sitting in front of that AC unit. It means the hydration, the bringing your body temperature to a cool state. That's why sometimes when the paramedics show up, the first thing they do with babies who are overheating is try to give them a popsicle. They try to put something cool on their feet to help bring their body temperature down. Sometimes when you call 911, they might say, okay, run a cool bath of water. We're on the way. See if you can just cool them down. Pat them down just a little bit. It helps with your body temperature coming down. Okay. But heat exhaustion is something very real. Family, here's just a few signs to keep an eye on. If your skin starts turning pale, if your skin starts getting super dry, like ashy, really hard. How about if you have a lot of muscle cramps out of nowhere? Muscle cramps are an extreme way of your body telling you that it needs hydration. One of the reasons athletes drink Gatorade all the time because it puts the salt back into their body they sweat out while also giving them liquid. Not promoting Gatorade here. Just want you to be educated. You have to know when your body starts cramping and it's hot outside, it's your body trying to give you an indicator. Let's give you just a few more. If you're tired, fatigue is a key example of heat exhaustion. Weakness. How about headaches, dizziness, and even fainting? If you notice that you're already in the heat, don't assume anything. Respond to cooling off first. Sadly, nausea and vomiting are also two very real key indicators. And a rapid heart rate. If all of a sudden your heart is pounding and you're sweating and you just can't seem to get oriented and you feel tired and you have a lot of these symptoms, consider hydrating, consider cooling off. Put those frozen peas and that frozen bag of corn on the back of your neck, like my grandma used to do. Something that can again help your body temperature. Family, our job here is to love first, elevating the cause of those who live in India. Our India family needs your help. If you'd like to help them today, you're welcome to send resources to the United Nations Foundation. Globally, they assist with those countries that are experiencing so many issues. You, every time, helps because they cover the entire globe. Nationally, if you're in your town and you're dealing with heat waves, listen, Las Vegas had 100 plus temperature the other day. If you find that you live in those areas where you can help, consider the Red Cross, the American Red Cross, as a place where you can not only give blood to help those who experience life threatening issues, but you can give some of your change, which might make a difference as well. But what's most important is education. All right, now I know the signs. Okay, a heat stroke might mean that they're tired. Wow, let me ask the coworker next to me, are you okay? Let them, when you hear them say they're hot, they can't breathe, or their heart is rapid, now you have power. Let me call 911. You might be hot. You want to try some water? Here, drink this cool water. Let's get your body temperature regulated. There's some ice. There's a peg in the freezer. Let me see. Can I put this on the back of your neck? Or how about you want to hold it? Where would you like to put it? Right? Like we're not going to force, but we want to be helpful. We just empowered you to help save a life. Heat strokes are very, very real. The body temperature that goes above 103 is in a very dangerous state. One of the things that many doctors try to do in pediatric care is start flushing the baby. Remember, I mentioned a cool bath. I didn't say cold. You don't want to shock a body. Something cool, maybe those cool rags, putting that cool compress on your head, whatever will help you in these summer months. And here's another thing, consider our sisters who are with child in this heat. One thing I will never forget, carrying my son in those hot months of July and August. Whoo! He was an August baby and it was hard. Consider making sure, just check. Hey, how you doing? You good? You got your water today? I got an extra bottle if you need it. Family, we are the ones that can make a difference where we are. You're in that position because you have the power to help those who might be elderly, those who already exemplify signs, and maybe our kids and loved ones. So here's what you need to know. What do I need to do, Tammy? Call 911. You are, if you're not a medical professional, if you're not a doctor, don't start deciding you're going to try to diagnose somebody right now. What they need is help. You can respond with hydration. You can respond with something cold on them and call the people that can show up right away. Emergency response, okay? That's the most powerful thing you can do. Let them walk you through what you need to know. Consider removing unnecessary clothes to help expose the skin so it can cool off. Some folks that work outside, they wear extra layers to help protect their skin from the sun so they don't get sunburned. But if they get too much and it becomes too hot, help them take those layers off and sit down and cool off. Immediately cool them. Consider cold water. The neck is one of the first places most medical professionals tell you. And consider how you can monitor their breathing. Watch them. If it sounds like it's getting too much, sounds like they're going to fall down, make sure you're articulating everything you see to those folks on at 911, to that emergency response team. But do not in any way force anyone to apply rubbing alcohol to their skin. That is a no-no. Don't make any victims or anybody that you see who's labored breathing or who's complaining of pain, seems like they're going to pass out, might be experiencing heat exhaustion. Take any pain pills. Don't force anyone to do that, especially salt pills. Athletes who release a lot of sweat are in a controlled environment where they can drink Gatorade. But Gatorade is measured by the amount of salt. So don't just decide, oh, salt's in Gatorade, here, take some salt. We are not the ones that want to do self remedy, family. What we wanted to do was take this opportunity to encourage you to help those in need across the water. Yes, they need our prayers, but we are also people of action. Those who live in India have family members that are your neighbors, your co-workers, maybe even your parishioners in the grocery store with you. That's their family. And if you were across the water, you'd want someone there to help you. Let us keep in mind our neighbors, whether close or far, and let us be equipped to be better. So we're going to keep going forward. We're going to talk more about health today. So stay tuned for the health front. There's more after this.
Hey, 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 how you guys doing? This is Regina Hutt, the wellness practitioner at Empower Mornings. Join me every Monday at noon to work out with Regina on One Network.
Hey, it's your girl, A Love. Make sure you follow me and Pastor PG, LaShonda Robinson, on Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Girl Let's Talk. And let me tell you, it's not your typical church conversation. Make sure you join us on the WIN Network.
Welcome back to the Power Up. I'm your host, Tammy. So glad that you're joining us today. Let's go right into the health front. What we want to share are some thoughts. Remember, we educate here so that you can take the information, share it with your family, your friends, your neighbors, your coworkers, because the folks you know, they know 10 more, and then they know 10 more. The power of communication, one of the great parts about being here in the information age. You don't have to walk to the library and pull out that encyclopedia to look up that word and get a description. By the time you type in those first three letters, you have a whole plethora of information at your disposal. Today, we want to remind you how important it is that you take care of this, the one thing you've been given for the time that you're here walking this planet, your body. Many of us don't think about the value of multivitamins. We automatically go to pain relievers. What we want to encourage you to do is think about an ounce of prevention being better than a pound of cure. Don't think I quite said that the way it's said, but it's close. In other words, if you operate with a preventive mindset, I want to live well, so let me start doing some things right now. It's better than spending 14 hours sitting in the waiting room at an ER. My girlfriend did it the other day. 14 hours just in the waiting room because they were so backed up, not including the hours once you finally get seen. Prevention makes a difference. How you live your life makes a difference. And we want to remind you that there's some great resources around you. Have you considered speaking to the pharmacist? If you're not one to go straight to a doctor, if you haven't had your annual physical yet, but if you're starting to feel these things and just want to have a consultation to ask what over the counter medications or vitamins can help you. The reason vitamins are so important is because it helps put into your body things that can strengthen it over time. The multivitamin alone has at least 15 different subvitamins in it just for you to take that one every day. In fact, there's one called one a day. And what it does is, as you digest it, it breaks up what's needed and it goes to the specific parts of your anatomy. So there's some vitamins, there's some things in the earth that help your blood. There's others that help your nervous system. There's some that help your digestive system. But instead of taking 50 different bottles, it's quite possible your doctor can tell you there's enough in just that one vitamin. Now, if you're like me, after my thyroid was removed, I had to start taking it seemed like my weight in supplements. But I learned the value of prioritizing those supplements because it's helped in other ways where I'm not running back and forth to the hospital. I've adopted and adapted different practices that help with what I eat. And I include my multivitamin as part of my plan. Family, there's so much at your hand you can use, you can do that will help you live well. One of the things to consider, how about smoothie Fridays? See, smoothies have value because it takes this whole big amount of fruits and vegetables and puts it in a little cup for you to drink. If you're like me, I literally watch everything I'm putting in there till I got to pack it down and then I just suck it through a straw. It helps my digestion because my stomach doesn't have to fight so hard with this acid to break up the red meat from that burger. Come on, my triple double people. Or that porterhouse steak. The 20 ounces. How about that full rack of ribs? Yeah. My meat lovers. There's times when you can help your stomach because it takes 3 days to break down red meat with the acid you have in your belly. So do you continue to cram on top of it? And that's why your side hurts. That's why you're carrying more back fat than before. That's why you're having those migraines all of a sudden. How about the swelling around your ankles? Family, you store what you put in. Consider allowing your body an opportunity to replenish. A multivitamin is a great way to take something natural to help your systems. You have many systems that make you great. How about giving it some help? Those smoothies help to take everything you need and drink them on the go. How about while you're running out the door? Smoothies are commute right on with you in the cup. The same way you drink your coffee and drive. Come on, somebody. The same way you drink that big gulp, the 20-ounce Coke, nothing but sugar. That's another segment. But what you enjoy doing is great. Portion control can help you live longer. Here's something that my doctor told a family member that I was with who is a diabetic. He said, I'm not telling you you can't eat what you want. You can eat anything you want. What I'm telling you is that because you're regulating your numbers, it's the amount that you eat at one time. So instead of that full rack of ribs, how about do half and eat the other half for leftovers? Ooh, leftovers is a wonderful thing, especially when they taste right. Instead of eating that whole porterhouse steak, how about eat half now and then decide for breakfast in a few days, I'm going to have some steak and throw eggs with it. I know I'm talking to real folks. And we're all about trying to live well. Consider speaking to your healthcare provider first. And if you're not going in to speak to a doctor, talk to your pharmacist. That's what they're there for. They can at least tell you where on the aisle you can find things that help you. They went to school to get certified in that area, to understand the pills that they're putting out, to understand how the pills do what they do. That way, when they fill a prescription, if they see things that conflict, they can say, okay, we've got to talk about this drug. We've got to talk about how it might cause an issue with this other one you're already taking. Or can I call your doctor to see if there's a different brand that we can give you? Family, it's all meant to empower you. Consider your multivitamin. Consider portion control. How about thinking about a smoothie every now and then? Whether you make them at home with your NutriBullet like I do, whether you hit that local spot that has smoothies all over town now, or even if you just get them out the grocery store where you can get that protein shake that will also help give your body the energy and sustenance that you need. We want you to continue being amazing. We want to empower you to do all you can because you've got 50 more years to live. And hopefully more than that. Come on, 200. But it's not just about you living. You want to have that amazing quality of life. The sassy you are now. Come on, 88. The traveling you do now. You want to be able to do in the future. The way you get up and get down now to care for yourself, what you do now will help you be able to it soon as you go forward in life. That's what's important, that you do everything you can to be the best you possible. So we're hoping that this helped you with our health front, that you're doing all you can to live well because you are the best you can be. And we have more information for you as we go into our motivation moment. So don't leave me. Stay tuned. We'll be right after this.
Good morning. Marshall Weeks here with you on Financial Friday. How are you doing this morning? Let's talk about Proverbs 18:21. Death and life is in the power of the tongue. Some of us have been hearing that since we were little children, but I want to talk to you about that in terms of our money mindset and what we should be speaking out of our mouths, regardless of what we see. We walk by faith and not by sight. So I hope that encourages someone today. Repeat after me. I control my money. My money does not control me. I am turned into the flow of prosperity. I become richer Every day, I am a money magnet. Do you believe that? Do you believe that your best days are just ahead? Do you believe that one day could make a difference? Do you believe that meeting one person could change everything? Every day we have the decision to choose, and it starts here with the tongue. So today, regardless of what happens, I want you to remember you have a secret weapon. You have the promises of God, and you have that tongue to call those things that are not as though they were. Be encouraged. You've been empowered because you should prosper.
Good day, it's Tammy. Thank you for coming back to the ride. Welcome back to the Power Up, where we're here to equip, educate, empower, and elevate you with information that we hope you would share with the world. We walk through our global and national news, and then we shared some health tips. And now it's time for our motivation moment. I'm honored during this segment when I have the opportunity to share a few thoughts with you that have helped me along the way and that I've used as a coaching professional. I have the opportunity on a global stage to work with executives in Fortune 500, 100 companies and some amazing individuals that have ideas and want to start businesses and they grow into entrepreneurship and get stuck along the way at some point. So I want to share during this motivation moment one thing. I want you to consider why you started and remind yourself regularly that if anybody's going to believe in me, it ought to be me. The power of belief can change your entire perspective. When it's the problem and the pressure seems so great, if you just believe that you can, or you believe it will get better, or believe there's an idea, or believe, wait a minute, I'm missing something, or believe, let me just start over again, or believe, you know what, it's possible. Whatever you believe is what will sustain you in those hard times. I actually have the word believe in my home, sketched in wood, because I have to remind myself on a regular basis that haters going to hate and folks are going to doubt. Everybody's not Team Tammy, and it's okay. But it took me a long time to accept that, to be okay with folks being different than me, and to still believe that I deserve to win just like everybody else. So today's motivation moment is really meant just to remind you that your dreams have just as much right to come alive as everybody else you see thriving around you. Hear it from me. There's nothing too great. There's no barrier too high. You're never too old or too sick or too fat or too thin or don't have enough degrees or don't have enough money. You're never going to have to stay in a limit unless you make the choice to stay there. There was a story I heard years ago where it was about a bird that an individual had in a cage. Birds, as we all know, have wings because they're built and designed to fly. But this particular bird that was known for flying was kept as a pet for so long, kept in this cage, that when the individual released it from the cage, it didn't know what to do. It had to think for a minute and get surrounded by other birds to acknowledge and remember This is what I'm designed to do. Now, let me help my chicken eating folks. Before y'all say, Tammy, every bird doesn't fly. I got you. I hear you. But you have a choice. Do you want to be amongst the chickens? Or would you prefer to soar like the eagles? Family, we have the opportunity to give life to the things that make us happy. We have the right to be happy just like we see everyone else being. But now listen, it doesn't mean that life isn't hard at times. I got to tell you, there's things I'm dealing with right now doing this show that if I told you, you guys would be like, wow, there's no way. So, what makes me go? What makes me remain consistent? What continues to push me? It's my dreams. It's my why I do it. See, I'm clear with my mission in the earth, but there were times when I wasn't. People be talking about purpose, and I'd be looking like, okay, what's the purpose got to do with anything? I'm trying to eat. I'm trying to take care of these little babies pulling on me. I'm trying to find love, right? All the stuff that I was focused on was the things that weren't enough. I was focusing on the current state of where I was instead of learning how to live in my possibilities. Ooh, somebody ought to write that down. Live. Now, live means movement. There's a thriving in living. There's an existing and a growth in living. Think about it this way. Something that's not alive. So you have a choice in death and life. And if you decide to live in possibilities, in changing your vision to be, yes, I can, changing your vision to be, why not me? Changing your vision to be, come on here, I'm ready. And I'm going to make sure I'm in position so that when it comes, I'm there. Family, your dreams, yeah, they have every right to exist and happen just like anyone else. Now, let me help my naysayers. My naysayers that say, Tammy, I hear what you're saying, but it's not possible. I don't have enough money to make my dreams come true. I don't have enough time. Let me tell you, one thing we're good at is excuses. We are good at finding all the reasons why not. I want to challenge you, though, to give yourself permission to dream. Give yourself permission the same way you give yourself permission to forgive yourself for past mistakes because you can't go back and fix it. You can't change the past. You only have the power to do what you can do. You can't go back unless you have a time machine. I don't have the ability to go back and change what I have done. The poor choices, the bad decisions, the times I yielded and didn't take advantage of opportunities in front of me. Ooh, how about making opportunities right now your focus? Get up and get off the excuses box and say, today, right now, in this moment, I'm going to live in possibilities. I'm going to change my language. I'm going to change my thought process. I'm going to change my friends. I need to change my environment. I got to start hanging out places where there's possibilities. If you want to be a CEO, join CEO networks. Facebook has them. All these social media groups have them. Start surrounding yourself with what you desire. It is possible. I share all the time that if one of your dreams is going to the moon, I have news for you. Somebody's done it. Why not you? You have to then take your dreams and make them goals. That's the difference. If you're just sitting there dreaming, you're going to take all your dreams to the grave with you when you go. But if you write them down, come on, write the vision. If you write them down, My dream, if I could, I would. I always loved to. When I was a kid, I used to. I love doing that. I'll give you an example. You know that in the United States, there's adult kickball leagues, there's adult frisbee tournaments. Yeah. There's a senior citizen I met the other day who just pulled his bike out the basement and decided to sign up to ride in the Senior Olympics. He said, okay, I'm only 78. I got a bike. They're doing it. Why not? Family, we hope that you take the message that as long as you believe, it can, it should, it could, but most importantly, it will happen. I say often, when people start giving you the negative stuff, understand a hater's gonna hate. That's their job. It's what they're designed to do. It's like expecting a dog not to bark or a cat not to meow. In them is what they do. And it's okay. But if they're watching you and you feel like you're losing, how about let them watch you win? Start with your language. I can. I will. Start with taking away those words that are negative and are deaf. Start with removing the I can't. And start with everything, every chance you get, I am. Because there's more I ams than more I can'ts. You know, all the limits that our ancestors who were slaves lived in, many of them still found love. Many of them reproduced and made families in that bondage state. Many of them sang spirituals that went on for generations, so much that I'm singing them and I teach them to my grands. Family, let's make the decision to believe that I deserve it, to believe that I can, and then to make it happen. For my folks who have physical ailments, maybe you deal with health challenges. You're listening to somebody, has my own, I struggle. But I want to tell you a story. There's a gentleman who has no legs, and he is an Olympian. Started as a kid who was teased by other kids. And then he went to a camp. Mom signed him up for a summer camp, and that camp counselor spoke life into him, got him excited about trying to do things, found new prosthetic legs, and decided, of all things, he was going to run. He is an Olympian track athlete. Come on, talk about limits. He didn't let the people keep him in that box of I can't because I don't look like everybody else, or my response time might not be like everybody else, or I have issues that folk don't understand. He lifted his mentality and started to find hope, and then live in hope, and then run in hope. Family, yes, you can. It's bigger than just a presidential theme. It's bigger than just a bumper sticker. It can be your life's motto if you believe. And again, nobody should be your number one fan more than you. You are fly. You are fabulous, phenomenal. You are sexy, sassy, sensational. You're anointed. You're appointed. You're smart. You have all the resources around you to be great. If you don't like how you look, get a stylist. If you don't like how your money is, get a financial advisor. Come on. If you don't like where you live, come on, relocate. Family, there's an entire world, an entire life just for you to experience. And it can start right now if you believe. So write your goals, write your dreams, make them goals. Here's an example. I wish I could travel the world. That is my dream. I feel you, it's mine too. Means you got to start somewhere. So now I have a goal to travel the world. Actually, I have it on my vision board. I'm not lying. And then what I did was I said, I'm going to start this year with 4 trips. Now, I didn't say nationally, I didn't say internationally. I said 4 trips. That's out my house going somewhere new. I get to experience some culture. And then I saw a travel agent, someone who can walk me through the current application process for a passport, someone who could tell me that if I want to go to this place, what the currency is like there, someone who could tell me the best time to visit the places on my list. How about I started writing a list of places I want to visit? Family, my dream came alive. Whether I started traveling or not, I started getting hope that it's possible. Ah, y'all get that? Y'all see how we're living in possibilities? It's the same with weight loss, the same with building a savings account, the same with starting a new job. How about the same with starting your own business to work for you? It's the same if you wanted to look into stocks. It's the same if you wanted to date. It all takes you starting. Release yourself from the past of guilt, of mistakes, of I shoulda. Ooh, I lived in that for so long. I shoulda when I had the chance. I should have told them. I should have. You gotta let yourself be healed. Walk into forgiveness. Walk through that journey of restoration because you deserve to be happy. You deserve it. But it means me accepting it, owning it. I messed up, dealing with it, saying I'm sorry, offering an apology if I need to. But most importantly, apologizing to me so that when I get to that place where I can experience freedom, I get to live out loud and on purpose. In other words, and by the time you start checking my social media page, I'm gonna have so many different places I've been that people are gonna start saying, "Where you going next?" I'm glad you asked because I already have something else in mind. Do you see how I'm smiling just from thinking about it? That's what hope looks like. Live in the possibilities, and it gives you excitement. Your language changes, your thought mind, your process, what you feel starts to elevate those endorphins in your brain. And before you know it, that whole walk is different. You look different and you feel different. Family, this motivation moment should remind you of how great you are, even when you don't feel great. Because life has a way of knocking the wind out of you. It does. But when you pick yourself up, when you get your focus, when the fog lifts and you can start getting a little clarity of thought, get back to your grind of winning at life. Because you have your birth date and your transition date. But it's what you do with the dash in the middle that gives you the most opportunity to win at this thing called life. We hope this motivation moment empowered you to believe in you more than ever. We need you to stay tuned though, because we're going to head into our wrap up. There's more after this.
What's up, family? It's your girl, Terry Y. Hicks of the Amazing Fab Five, and I am here to tell you to tune into the Empowered Morning Show Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the WIN Network.
Hi, guys. It's Tina Wynn, your host of the podcast, You See Me. I want you guys to stay encouraged, continue to come out and see me, and most importantly, see yourselves. Remember, the only way that you can truly enjoy life is to see other people so that you can enjoy the beauty of seeing yourself. Come join me Saturdays at 4 on the We Empowered Network. Thank you.
Hey, family, welcome back. So glad you're still here with us as we wrap up this amazing segment. We want to remind you of to continue to lift our wonderful brothers and sisters who are in India, who are dealing with an excessive heat wave. And we want to share that it's important that you also protect yourself. Know the signs of heat exhaustion. Know how important it is to keep this body cool during these summer months and continue to lift and help those around you. Because now that you're empowered, now that you're educated and aware, it makes you ready so that you can help somebody else. If you want to assist those, our brothers and sisters in India, feel free to send your donation to the United Nations Foundation. Again, they have a global reach. Also, if you feel like you can assist those in the nation, the United States, the American Red Cross needs you. They need your blood platelets. They need you to donate blood. Do you know that when you donate blood, your blood can save at least 7 different individuals? And think of it this way, one day it might be you in need. So you're hoping someone is donating. Consider reaching out to the American Red Cross and see what you can do to help somebody else. Continue to pray for India and continue to stay aware as the heat elevates these months as we go into the summer. Look out for our sisters who are carrying those babies, for our seniors, and for the kids playing outside. Remember some helpful tips we shared. That frozen bottle of water, take it out with you in the morning instead of keeping that case of water in the car because your trunk's going to get hot. And even frozen fruit and vegetables. Those frozen grapes taste like candy to babies. Help figure out different ways you can help regulate your body temperature so that you can stay cool. Family, we then went into some health tips, remembering how important it is to consider adopting a multivitamin. Speaking to your medical professional, consider smoothies, the impact they will have to give your stomach a break, to not have to grind up that red meat as much. Consider portion control. The smaller amount you eat now can also help your stomach so you're not dealing with as much acid reflux and gas and allowing your body to digest. Okay? No one's saying you can't have it. We're just saying, remember, control what you eat, you store, and you also need to burn so that you can help stay healthy. All right. The motivation moment, we reminded you of the power to believe in you. You are amazing. How to live in the possibilities. And even thank you, Reverend Jesse Jackson and the Push Coalition, how to keep hope alive. Uh-huh. As we wrap up today, we want to remind you of just a few things. Time is very precious. You're here one day and gone the next. We saw that with the pandemic, how our neighbors, our loved ones, living with pre existing conditions, taking their medicine, thinking they were happy with life. And then this new airborne disease came and impacted the lungs, the ability to breathe. Many were on respirators for months, and many passed, unable to get the services they needed because our medical system was so overwhelmed. Family, think with that preventive mind, right? Let me do a little bit now or do something now that will help me be great when I'm older. Every choice you make makes a difference. And you're only allotted the time that your creator has allowed you to be here. So we want to share this thought with you during the wrap up. Consider your choices and decisions. Consider what you can do now, you have the power to, that can help. For example, do you know most folks don't have life insurance? Let me help somebody. That's the money that you get, that your family, your survivors, your beneficiaries receive when you do transition. Remember, nobody lives forever, right? It's not possible. Nobody is walking this planet forever because gravity takes over and there's so much in your body that goes turns back into dirt. There's no one that's walking this planet that lives forever. At some point, but do you know that most folks don't think that protecting their family and their loved ones is a priority? But we go to the movies all the time. We go to restaurants. We go and buy the new bag, or we make sure that we've got everything we can to get our groove on come payday. And sometimes something small like a choice to protect your family can make a difference. Funerals cost. Who is going to have to deal with that burden? Consider how your choices make a difference. We talked a minute ago about how you eat, what choices you make with what comes into your body, what you consume that can help fortify and build you, like multivitamins, like any vitamins, like considering how the natural things from the earth that you eat, those salads, right? Eden gave you a cheat, put it all in a glass like a smoothie and drink it. But it's in your power to do. Choices matter. I will also like you to consider a few things about the relationships around you. You have a choice to stay in a relationship, whether it's a work relationship, whether it's a romantic relationship. Maybe there's an institution you're going to for higher learning and you don't like the teacher, you don't like the courses. Maybe you're at a church you're not vibing with. Maybe you live in a neighborhood that just isn't conducive to the little people that you're raising. You have a choice to change your situation for the better. You're not stuck unless you choose to stay. You're talking to someone who made a very hard decision once in life. And I packed up and I moved 10 hours away. Brand new life. I had to because I was at my breaking point. I felt myself losing where I was. Everything about me that's positive, I was so in a negative place. I wore black all the time. I mean, all I saw was black. All I spoke was negative. And black is an amazing color. So I don't associate black now as negative. There's some wonderful things. I love the color black. Come on, y'all, see me working it. But in that moment where I was mentally was in the dark, I was in a negative space. And what I had to do was make a life change. Hardest thing I've ever done. And as much as I tried to put everything together, when you try, that's when everything usually falls apart. But you can do what you can do, right? So what I had to do was develop a plan, start talking to people that know more than me, start connecting with people outside of my circle, looking at how other people do things and saying, I want to be like that. I want what they have. So let me start finding out how they got what they have. And I started making decisions and better choices. Now, one of the choices I'll share that I made that has really paid off is I stopped talking about my personal business. I stopped sharing my plan with folks. I used to be very public. And then I noticed other people stealing from what I was doing, even owning what I was doing. And I said, I also learned that it's important for me to pray about some things and not talk about some things. See, running to my girl wasn't helping me release and get better. It wasn't helping me to heal. It was just giving me somebody to bow on to. Yeah, girl, I got you. What you need? I come and keep allowing me in that space. Now, when I started elevating my friends, I started getting girlfriends that would tell me the truth. And they would say, you sound like you're stuck. Come on, you can get out of that. Let's talk about a plan. Let's connect you with resources. Those are the type of friends that help me get to where I am today. The ones that see value in you and learn to invest in you. See, because folks will drain you dry, but you deserve all we spoke about earlier. It starts with a choice. You have the power to protect your family once you transition. You have the power to leave a legacy now. There's a book in you, go ahead and write. What's stopping you? Well, I don't know any publishers. That's not hard to find. You ever thought about singing? Why can't you do a CD? Why can't you go do some open mic nights? Come on, let that thing out. Why can't you go join a choir? Except that you're allowing yourself to be stagnant and stuck. Family, it's time to live. We're no longer existing. And it all starts with you making the choice that I'm not going to waste any more time. If I go today, I want to go happy. I tell folks all the time when they say, Tammy, you on 1,000. When do you sleep? You're always into so much stuff. I actually tell folks, when I go to the grave, I'm trying to go empty. I'm trying to leave everything I have right here on planet Earth. And there's ever since I started stepping into new things, there's so many more things. I'm like, yeah, I want to do that. Now, I might not do it right now. I deal with issues sometimes with this body. You know, you're of the dirt, so you deal with the things in this life, which means I have to deal with different circumstances. I have to deal with what I have that is part that makes me me. But it doesn't control me. In fact, I tell folks that I'm the face of victory. I'm not the face of a disease. Now, while I am an advocate for lupus and an advocate for cures, an advocate for cancer, and an advocate for thyroid disease, while I'm an advocate for those things that I've stepped into and stepped over, while I'm an advocate for how we need to raise awareness to domestic violence, and while I'm an advocate for so many things that have built into my life, they're part of my history. They're part of my past. They're part of my daily life. But get that, they're just a part. They don't control, they don't reign, they're not the whole picture. Family, make a choice and decision today to make time and how you spend it your priority. When we do vision board parties at the beginning of the year, the very first thing we do before we start talking about your vision going forward is we pause and take an opportunity to celebrate your wins. Go ahead and glance back in your rearview mirror and look at the great things you've done, the awesome things you've been a part of. You know, it might not be that you've been married. It might not be you've had children. It might not be things that other people are considering great. Okay, stop comparing yourself to other people and just do you. Family, with all the love in my heart, all the amazing prayers and support this team has in believing that you are awesome. We want to see you thrive and we want to witness your success. The sky is the limit, but you've got to be the one to decide. I'm going to pull out my ladder and start climbing. I'm going to pull out that piece of paper and pen and start writing. I'm going to pick up my phone and start making calls. I'm going to open that laptop and start using Google to my advantage and research, honey. I'm going to start living out loud and on purpose. Why not? Family, we thank you for joining us today on the Power Up. We hope this segment reminded you of how important our brothers and sisters across the water are, how important it is that you care for yourself during these hot weather months, and to allow your body the attention it needs, starting with little things, as well as believing in yourself. Because we're excited. We can't wait to see you on the front page and living your dreams and seeing your posts and your pictures and even having you as a guest on this show. All things are possible to he that believes, is what the scripture says. Family, thank you for joining us. We look forward to seeing you next time. Stay encouraged and remember, you have the power to make a difference where you are. Go be great, stay healthy, and we'll see you next time.